Hello guys, good afternoon. We are Group 5, and today we are going to talk about Ford Prefix on Hitchhiker Guide to Galaxy. So I'm Shinwon.
Junhyung.
I'm Katrin. In The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Ford Prefect is a very important character, which might come as a surprise, as he proves to be a master of survival in a universe full of chaos and danger. His quick thinking, humor, and positive outlook allow him to navigate the unpredictable and often precarious situation he encounters. His wit, optimism, and impromptu behavior are not just traits that make him a unique character, but vital tools that help him and those around him stay calm and overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. He is often an overlooked character between the protagonist, Arthur Dent, the depressed robot Marvin, and the peculiar president of the galaxy, Zaphod Beeblebrox. This essay will explore how the three qualities mentioned above contribute to Ford Prefect's ability to thrive in a universe full of uncertainty and incredible adventures, making him possibly the most interesting character in the entire book series.
Okay, so let's start with Ford's wit and optimism. These are one of his best tools for surviving in tricky situations. His wit is not just about being funny, it's how he keeps calm and helps others stay calm too. So in the novel, when Ford tells Arthur in the pub that the Earth is going to be destroyed, he says in a calm tone, Ford does not act panicked or overly serious. Ford knows that staying calm is the best way to deal with fear. Another example is when Ford and Arthur are forced to listen to Vogon poetry. Vogon poetry, as the novel says, is the third worst poetry in the universe. And it's supposed to be torture. Ford makes a joke about its vogonity. He turns something unbearable into something he can laugh at. This shows how Ford uses humor not just to lighten the mood, but also as a survival tool. He knows how to manage stress and stay focused in even the most chaotic situations. His wit is a practical way of surviving in a chaotic galaxy. And then let's talk about Ford's optimism. This is another reason he is good at surviving dangerous situations. No matter how bad things get, Ford always believes there's a way out. For example, when Ford and Arthur hitch and ride on a Vogon spaceship, Ford reassures Arthur, so let me act this situation out for you guys. So Ford says, "Don't panic." Arthur, "I'm not panicking." Ford, "Yes, you are." Arthur, "Alright, so I'm panicking. So what else is there to do? You just come along with me and have a good time. The galaxy is a fun place." So Ford says, the galaxy is a fun place. He says, you just come along with me and have a good time. Even though they're in tricky situations, Ford's positive attitude keeps Arthur from panicking. His optimism is not just for himself, it also helps the people around him stay grounded, even in tough moments. Ford's optimism comes from his experience. He has been through plenty of strange and dangerous situations, so he knows that things can work out. Instead of showing fear, Ford treats the unknown as something exciting. His positive outlook allows him to stay calm and think clearly, even under pressure. This makes his optimism feel practical, not just wishful thinking. What makes Ford's optimism even more remarkable is how it affects others. When people around him are scared or unsure, his confidence gives them the courage to keep going. Ford's positive attitude often spreads to those around him. It gives them the strength to face challenges head on. His optimism is not just about getting through the moment, it makes him a great supporter who helps others face difficult situations with confidence. So that's all for my part, and the next, Junhyung will continue from here.
Ford's impromptu behavior is an important factor that drives him to survive in unpredictable situations. In the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Ford faces some life-threatening adventures, and he always survives through his civilization. In particular, the scene of his and Arthur's escape from the Vogon ship illustrates this ability quite well. In the particular scene from chapter 5, Ford suddenly puts a babelfish in Arthur's ear, which is a fish that translated the Vogon language into your own. Later in chapter 7, when Arthur and Ford are struck into the poetry appreciation chairs to be subjected to Vogon poetry, which is the third worst in the universe. Arthur says he actually liked it, and Ford additionally noted how it shows Vogonity. It didn't work to convince the Vogons, and eventually they are thrown out of the Vogon ship. However, along the way, Ford kept talking to the Vogons, which gained them some time, and after being thrown into outer space, they were able to hitch a ride on the Heart of Gold without dying. From this scene, readers can see that Ford does not hesitate to act immediately, and he keeps them alive. This shows Ford overcome the crisis through instantaneous judgment rather than a set plan. Ford's wit, optimism, and improvisation complement each other's survival and make him an extra special character. These traits are essential for him to navigate the unpredictable circumstances of the galaxy. For example, when they are dramatically rescued by the Heart of Gold at chapter 9, Ford doesn't seem surprised. Instead, he accepts the situation positively and adapts quickly to the situation. Throughout this novel, there are several parts that reveal his character as follows. In chapter 3, Ford says clearly in less than 2 minutes, the Earth is going to end. This shows Ford is witty and optimistic even in serious situations. In chapter 6, the Vogons kick them out of the ship, and then Ford consoles Arthur and notes, if you're unlucky, the captain might be serious in his threat that he's going to read us some of his poetry first. This scene emphasizes how Ford is optimistic and witty. These character traits are crucial to Ford and Arthur surviving their adventures in space. These three qualities in particular indicate that he is constantly growing and evolving to meet the ever-changing circumstances through adventure. Ford's characteristics play a big role in helping him overcome various challenges in the galaxy and enjoy new experiences.
Ford Prefect's wit, optimism, and impromptu nature are essential to his survival and success throughout The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. These traits allow him to remain calm, adapt to unforeseen challenges, and maintain a positive outlook, even in the most dangerous situations. His ability to bring humor into tense moments, coupled with his unwavering confidence and quick decision-making, makes him an invaluable companion in the chaotic galaxy. Without him, Arthur would likely be completely lost throughout the story, underlining just how important Ford is as a character to the plot. Additionally, his vast knowledge of the universe provided by the guidebook plays a crucial role in his and Arthur's journey throughout the galaxy. Ultimately, Ford's character serves as a reminder of the importance of staying calm, keeping a sense of humor, and maintaining optimism in the face of the unknown.
Thank you. So if you guys have a question, or let me. Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Enes from Group V. Thank you for your amazing essay about Hitchhikers and the Guide of the Galaxy. My question for you is as follows. Ford Prefect is described as a person with a positive outlook, according to your argument paper, even in the most dangerous situations. But to make a balance of Ford's attitude in the novel, do you think that the humanity can Ford see as a good example, or can we learn life lessons from Ford as a person?
Can you say one more?
Yes. according to your argument paper, is Ford perfect described as a person with a positive outlook, even in the most dangerous situations. But to make a balance of Ford's attitude in the novel, do you think that the humanity can Ford see as a good example, or can we learn some life lessons from Ford itself?
I do think that he can be a really good example to people, especially with how he acts very spontaneously when unforeseen things happen. It's definitely something that humans can learn from. Do you want to add something?
It's okay.
Okay.
I actually have a question, Vanessa from Group 6, that adds on to his question. Do you think that he was always like that, or did he like get these characteristic traits throughout his experience as a hitchhiker? Because like he's like really calm all the time or whatever, that he learned it out through his years of experience.
Good question.
He's like this at the first time, so I think it is his original characteristic.
I think you mean like if he's been like this his whole life,
Yeah.
right? I personally think that it's probably something he learned throughout his life, because it seems like he has like seen a lot of stuff and like gone through many different adventures. So I think he probably learned that along the way.
Others? Other questions? That's it, too?
Okay, my name is Fabian. I'm from Group 4. So yeah, basically interesting topic about, you're talking about the Ford's character seems to be happy all the time. But as we know that Douglas Adams made this novel also to, so basically Douglas Adams made this novel like more comedy, is because like he wants to make a start to real life world. So do you think that Douglas Adams is intended to make this Ford character to be more happy? Have you tended to say that about the importance of adaptability and attitude when facing the unknown? Or just like, do you have, what do you guys opinion about like that?
I think in a way he might be used as almost comedic relief sometimes to Arthur when he doesn't know how to deal with the situation. He might be like there to cheer him up almost, if that's what you mean.
So like the
As Ford is, I'm GC by the way.
Okay.
Ford is optimistic, he said, and he's very cheerful. And don't you guys think he's too unrealistic or besides any others?
I think it's his role to make novel more comedy, humorous.
So it seems like unrealistic too, but Junyoung says his role is more novel, is more than comedy, and if for the prefix known, other than to maybe not to be apply that situation. So first prefect with an optimism is important characteristics, I think.
Do Do you think it means anything that Ford Prefect is not human? Is there a reason why Adams might have chosen the good guy or the person who's responsible to not be a human being?
Because Ford is not human, so he's alien, so he knows more knowledge than humans. So I think this is the reason.
Yeah, I think it probably was a deliberate choice by Adams to not make him human, because oftentimes humans might be more pessimistic, and someone who's from a completely different planet, it might be more believable that he's so optimistic.
Good. Do I get a point? Okay, I didn't think of that. All right, good job. Group 6?
I'm Yona.
I'm Vanessa.
I'm Darunad. So, in literature, opening scenes play a vital role in establishing the story's tone, offering readers a glimpse into the emotional and thematic landscape they are about to enter. Whether the narrative unfolds as humorous, thrilling, sad, or satirical, these initial moments set the mood, signaling what kind of journey the audience can expect. Beyond merely setting the tone, opening scenes also introduce essential themes, conflicts, and underlying questions that will be explored throughout the book. They lay the groundwork for the story's central ideas, foreshadowing the challenges, character dynamics, and societal critiques that will be naturally woven into the flow of the narrative. By doing so, these scenes provide an engaging starting point and a framework for the deeper exploration of the issues and ideas that define the book. In Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Bulldozer scene is the opening scene that introduces the key elements. This scene is crucial because it introduces the main character's struggles, the absurdity of bureaucracy, and the humor and satirical tone that shape the novel. This seemingly simple episode where Arthur Dent confronts the construction crew determined to demolish his home introduces much more than a character and a plot point. By examining the bulldozer scene's significance, it becomes clear how Adams intertwines together personal and cosmic absurdity using humor to question social construct while drawing readers into the quirky and chaotic world of the story. In this paper, the key elements introduced in the bulldozer scene will thoroughly analyzed with the focus on their significance in shaping the broader narrative of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. By examining the protagonist's struggles, the depiction of bureaucratic absurdity, and the satirical humor woven into the essential moments, this analysis will demonstrate why the bulldozer scene serves as such a crucial introduction.
In the opening scene of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Arthur Dent, the protagonist, an ordinary man about 30 years old with dark hair and never quite at ease with himself, is introduced as he faces an absurd situation. He discovers that his house, which he has lived in for about 3 years, is about to be demolished to make way for a bypass. He attempts to stop the demolition by lying in front of the bulldozer, becomes a powerful symbol of his powerlessness against larger faceless forces. This scene sets the tone for Douglas Adams' use of humor and satire to critique bureaucratic inefficiency and the absurdity of modern life. Arthur's protest, which he faces against the impersonal bureaucracy, is immediately absurd. The bulldozer, an unfeeling machine, becomes a symbol of bureaucracy itself, relentless, impersonal, and immune to reason or empathy. The contrast between Arthur's futile resistance and the bulldozer's unstoppable force highlights the mismatch between the individual and the system that controls their lives. The humor escalates when Arthur interacts with Mr. Prosser, a local council representative who embodies the inefficiency of human authority. As Arthur stubbornly lies in front of the bulldozer, Mr. Prosser struggles to maintain his composure, offering non-essential bureaucratic excuses for the demolition. But the plans were on display. I eventually had to go down to the cellar to find them. That's the display department. With a torch? Well, the lights have probably gone. So at the stairs. But look, you found the notice, didn't you? Yes, I did. It was on display in the bottom of a locked filling cabinet, stuck in a disused lavatory with a sign on the door saying, "Be aware of the leopard." This absurd exchange is a prime example of Adam's humor, with the absurd inefficiency of bureaucracy on full display. The deliberate hiding of crucial notice is inaccessibly places satirized the often unclear and absurd nature of bureaucratic systems. The escalation from the lights probably gone to the stairs had gone to the ridiculous "be aware of the leopard" sign creates a peak of absurdity that serves as both humor and critique. Adam's humor is not merely for entertainment, it serves a satirical purpose. By exaggerating the inefficiency of local government, he criticized his disconnection between bureaucratic processes and the people they are meant to serve. Mr. Prosser insistence that the council fulfilled its obligation to inform the public, despite the notice being nearly impossible to access, underscores how bureaucracies often prioritize technical compliance over transparency. The power dynamic at play further enhanced the satire. Arthur's struggles against the bulldozer mirrors the universal frustration of individuals against faceless systems that seem too large and indifferent to challenge. The contrast between Arthur and Mr. Prosser is also a key element of the satire. Prosser, who claims to be descended from Genghis Khan, is portrayed as comically inept, unable to live up to his fierce ancestry. What's more, he was fat and shabby and worked for the local council. This is not the sort of person who can easily be transformed into a raging conqueror.
This absurd detail underscores Adam's critique of modern institutions, which have strayed from their supposed ideas of power and competence. Also, stubborn defiance is both admirable and inherently funny, given its mismatch against the bureaucratic power of bulldozer. This mismatch mirrors the frustration of readers who have dealt with similar bureaucratic absurdities, making the humor both relatable and personal. Adam's impeccable timing and wordplay also drive the humor. The phrase "beware of the leopard," delivered with perfect comedic timing, turns a critique of bureaucracy into a memorable punchline. Adams frequently used such twists to keep readers engaged, reforming the novel's satirical tone. The bulldoze scene is not just a moment of absurd humor, it is a scathing critique of bureaucratic indifference and inefficiency. Through the officials' rigid attitude and absurdity of their explanations, Adams highlights the flaws in modern bureaucratic system. Mr. Prosser's statement, "I'm afraid you are going to have to accept it. This bypass has got to be built, and it's going to be built," shows how the system prioritizes fulfilling its mission over considering the ethical or personal consequences for those affected. The use of "has got to" and "going to be" implies that resistance is futile, showcasing the disconnect between the individual and the system. Author's frustration over the hiding demolition notice further explains the lack of transparency in bureaucratic process. The critical decisions are often buried in obscure legends, making it nearly impossible for the public to respond promptly. This poor dissemination of information reflects the institutional disregard for individual voices and highlights the alienation felt by such system. Moreover, the trend in competence within the bureaucracy is one of the most comic aspects. When author questioned the reason for demolishing his house, the style provides a complex explanation. Bypasses are devices which allow some people to drive from point A to point B very fast, whilst other people dash from point B to point A very fast. This explanation, though seemingly professional, is ultimately cold and mechanical, designed to justify the demolition without considering the human implications. The bureaucratic response exemplifies the system's trained incompetence. Well-trained employees can present formal reasoning, yet they fail to acknowledge the real-world impact of their decisions. This highlights now how, despite appearing efficient, bureaucracy is fundamentally indifferent to the individual's effect. Through the humor, satire, and absurdity, Adams explores the flawed bureaucratic system and their disconnection from the people they are meant to serve.
The Bulldozer scene is more than just a humorous episode. It is a sharp critique of bureaucratic inefficiency and a poignant reflection on the frustration of ordinary people caught in immovable systems. Douglas Adams uses absurdity, witty dialogue, and character-driven humor to create a hilarious and thought-provoking scene. By turning a simple protest against a bulldozer into a satire of modern life, Adams ensures that this moment remains a timeless commentary on the absurdity of human existence. Thank you.
We think the bulldozer of this scene is just like the bulldozer shows the authority and the government system in that time. It means it's cost worthless and don't care about human, don't about care individual voice. And the bulldozer also the same pronouns as the people who bullying people, the bullying people. So it's the authors use it as a humor to show to show his angry through this. Thank you.
I'm Kimei from Group 3, and as a Korean who undergoing the ultimate outcome of training incompetence and bureaucratic absurdity, I found this paper well adapted to current Korean situation in some aspects. So in a similar aspect, I just wondered why did it choose the term powerlessness to describe Arthur lying in front of the bulldozer, because lying in front of the machine or the store, like tank or bulldozer, is sometimes can be the method frequently used as a significant expression of nonviolent demonstrations. So I was wondering.
We used powerlessness because in the end, I mean, it's not destroyed, like his house is not destroyed by the bulldozer, but due to the Vulcans like attacking, but still like in the end, he kind of loses because like Ford also takes him away to talk to him, and then he's like, oh, his house is gonna be demolished. And because we also said powerlessness because he had like so many obstacles to find like the plans were definitely not on display. And so we used powerlessness because sometimes when you face bureaucracy in some countries, it's like hard to find information or hard to find what you need to do. So therefore it's like, that's why we use the term powerlessness in that moment. Of course, sometimes when you do a nonviolent demonstration, it can help, but sometimes, sadly, it does not help. And that's why we use that term.
I'm Anna from Group 7. Do you think Adam's sharp and sharp critique of bureaucratic inefficiency can be seen throughout the rest of the book as well? And if so, maybe where? Or just the beginning scene?
I think it's through the old books, because after the books we see that the aliens want to demolish the earth. It's just because the announcement that they want to build a universe bypass. It's the same thing to this. So I think he wants to make a joke about the universe, that the universe also does things like this bureaucratic system. Thank you.
I'm from Group 3, and you mentioned about the human and the noble critics, bureaucracy, and social toll in our businesses. So do you think Adams uses humor to encourage readers to reflect on their own lives and decisions beyond his critics, or did you feel any different feelings as a reader?
Okay, so I think due to the humor throughout his whole book, he maybe kind of wants like serious situations to feel more like effortless. For example, the group before us with Ford Prefect, that he's always like optimistic and whatever, and that he always wants us, as well as facing like bureaucracy, that we like take it more like lighter and not as hard, or not like, don't try to freak out when we're gonna face bureaucracy in some point. Just like take it easy and just like go step by step and take it maybe with a little bit of humor, so it's like easier for you to deal with it. Yeah. Any other questions? Kathleen?
Adams is British, so he's obviously referring to British bureaucracies, but do you think this could also reflect other countries' bureaucracies, for example, like from your home country?
Yes. Without a doubt, yes. As well, it was mentioned even the Korean bureaucracy, which the latest things going on, and as well as, for example, like here Germany, what's going on, that our government is like not a government anymore. That is like kind of can be also reflected to it. I don't know how it is like with your country, but with ours for sure.
I think it's quite the same too, because right now it's not really flourishing in France. I don't know for you in China.
Also in China. Just for a little example, many guys want to check the dormitory, and they said people can't live in the bed, and the trash the trash count in the trash count on the earth, and it seems like this room seems like people are living here. It's so clean, but we should follow these rules. Thank you.
Anyone else? I don't know what country likes their bureaucracy. Good. The last group, Group 7.
Good afternoon. We're Group 7. I'm Maria.
I'm Fabrique.
And I'm Anouk. Our paper is about religious symbolism in Clara and the Sun and fate through an artificial lens. The novel Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro shows the point of view from Clara, an artificial friend, whose purpose is to take care of Josie, a 14-year-old girl who struggles with her health. In this book, Ishiguro really emphasizes the connection between Clara and the Sun. Ironic, I know. How Clara believes that the sun has a big impact on humanity and that it also gives special help to heal weak people, resembling the aspect of faith and mirroring the very human desire and necessity for worship, particularly a deity in this case. Clara believes that the sun is some form of God with the power to heal people and bring them some form of vitality. This includes Josie, the girl who Clara is an AF for. Josie has gone through something called lifting, a procedure within the novel that can enhance the mental and learning capabilities of children. However, the procedure somehow made Josie sick, thus Clara wants her to get better. In her attempt to do this, Clara turns to the sun for aid. In the very beginning of the novel, Clara states that she is fueled by the sun's energy, and so are the other AFs that were in the store, which is why it is so special for them to be put in the window, other than the possibility of getting noticed by possible clients. There's a scene in part 1 where Clara meets Josie and her mother, in which the store manager is introducing Clara and all her unique qualities to them, remarking that the thing that makes her so special is the fact that she's very observant and capable of quickly learning from her surroundings. This characteristic of hers is truly demonstrated throughout the book, although there is a moment in particular during the first part of the novel that has a great impact in Clara's view of human life and her perspective about the sun, plus the reason why she believes it has the ability to bring life and restores people's well-being. In this scene, Clara witnesses a beggar man and his dog supposedly pass away in one night. However, the next morning she sees them alive and well after receiving the sun's special nourishment. The way Clara sees the sun is similar to how humans see God. She builds herself a belief system for herself. In this novel, even an artificial friend can create a very human-like religion. Clara's son's relationship with the sun, the fact that she needs it as a source of life as much as other AFs that she met before living with Josie, added to what she saw that day. This may lead her to believe to the idea of the sun as a form of a benevolent God that grants humanity its healing power. There is a lot of heavy symbolism to be noted around the idea of Clara viewing the sun as a deity. Parting from this first part of the book, and whether this was Ishiguro's intention or not, the resemblance between Christianity and Catholicism and Clara's blind faith in the sun is closely tied and furtherly developed as the narrative unfolds. The discussion around this book often pointed to the idea that Clara is somehow the most human character in comparison to the actual humans that appear in the novel, which is curious to point out, because faith and hope are often traits regarded exclusively for the humankind. However, none of the other characters display any sort of religious beliefs in contrast. A lot of questions are left unsolved around this topic, but our theory for Clara developing these religion-like beliefs comes from the fact that she was programmed to be very observant AF. This allows her to understand and connect with people, learning about the emotions that humans have and how they experience them. Despite her being regarded as such a smart and artificial friend, there was also a very childlike and naive nature in Clara that points her innocent love and respect towards the sun as the reason she puts her trust in it, backed by the coincidental, or maybe not so much, events that happened after her prayers and sacrifices. Clara sees the Coatings machine as bad for it causes pollution and it angers the sun. We relate this to the concept of sin because it resembles the idea that God is good and merciful, always giving people all the possible goods in life, was also giving free will to humankind, whereas we willingly choose to do wrong and wreak havoc, resulting in the presence of an angry or saddened God.
Okay, since the way Clara sees the sun is similar to how human would perceive godly beings, the sun, being a life force giving, the life-giving force, is a powerful entity to Clara that to her mean things such as healing and hope. In turn, she thinks that the sun can do the same to weak people or humans like Josie. She's seen enough example back in the shop after all. However, Clara doesn't seem to think the sun is all giving either. She expresses during her prayers that the sun can feel disappointment, anger, and may only give kindness to the one who deserves it. Moreover, she also believes that the sun has feeling like anger or disappointment and assumes it expects a certain type of behavior. For example, from the previous action, as you guys remember, the coding machines, that cutting machines make the sun angry, so he suddenly hold his blessing in life. Also, the action when Clara decided to destroy the machine as a sacrifice that she believed will restore the sun favor in one of the action, that is a mirror to a real religious sacrificial ritual to gain forgiveness or blessing from a higher power. Clara assumes that the sun doesn't need a physical organ like ears to understand her. She believes that the sun can read her mind and know her true intentions. This action reflects many religions that believe God is all-knowing spirit, able to see into people's heart without any spoken word. That is why most of Clara does is an action, trusting that the sun will see her efforts. Later in the books, when Josie's condition gets worse and the sun doesn't show the special help, Clara still believes that when her action remain loyal and keep acting in a way that reflects her belief, the sun can help cure Josie. In this part, Clara doesn't even question the sun's potential to help Josie, even when the outcome is uncertain. This action reflects how human belief continue and keep praying even if they don't have evidence that their action will lead to a positive result. Clara's action shows that her connection with the sun become journey of a faith. Same with people that took a higher power to help and hope. Clara's journey reflects how both artificial beings and human can find meaning and answer to a faith. Back again, it's similar to people who always pray and believe even though things seem grim.
It is also important to note that throughout the novel, Clara comes across multiple symbols that represent evil to her. The first appearance of one of those symbols takes place way back when Clara was still in the store, under the watchful eye of the manager. As Clara is gazing out of the window from her position in the middle of the store, she spots the Kootings machine for the first time. Clara could overlook the noise it produced until she noticed the continuous smoke produced by the machine. It blocked the gap in the sky, which Clara would normally watch the sun go down through between the buildings. While nothing but a minor nuisance for some humans, this would essentially block the life supply for AFs, since they're solar powered. To Clara, having only had limited life experience up until this point, this was a clear sign of evil to her, threatening her life source, and the harmony she believes the sun provides. As mentioned earlier, this machine represents humans' disregard for the natural world, countering Clara's reference towards the sun as a life-giving force. Perceived as the main threat and the evil she has to defeat to save Josie and prove her worth towards the sun, Clara is willing to do anything. After all, that's what she's been made for, being Josie's companion. So much so that when Josie's health becomes critical, Clara is willing to sacrifice part of her PEG-9 solution that she carries within her system to destroy one of the Kootings machines, as mentioned earlier. This action of self-sacrifice can be perceived as a reference to the Eucharist, where Jesus shared part of his body and blood to forgive the sin of man, in this case the Kootings machine. Not only Clara sacrificing part of herself, but also acting as sort of a sacrificial lamb within the novel itself. It's what AFs are essentially made for after all. The bull in the pasture, which Clara observes on her way to Josie's house for the very first time, is another symbol with layered meaning. While the bull itself is not inherently evil, Clara sensed a raw hate and potential violence within it, making her stop dead in her tracks. This is also when Clara seems to experience a sense of fear for the first time, to the point where she doubts such a creature could stand in the sun's gentle rays at all, instead of deep within the ground and darkness. The bull gets mentioned once again during Clara's first visit to Mr. McBain's barn, when trying to get towards the sun. At some point during this trip, the ground beneath her becomes uneven, something Clara already has been known to have trouble with, threatening to fall beneath her. It is here when Clara's vision gets partitioned into boxes, which seems to occur when she's in a state which humans would consider fear or confusion. During this struggle, visions flash in Clara's eyes, including memories of the evil bull, as the ground threatens to collapse beneath her. Although not implied, perhaps this devil and the language used around this being can be seen as some form of devil, or as close as a devil Clara could imagine, a personification of evil coming from down below. In Clara and the Sun, to move back towards the main point, Ishiguro offers a moving exploration of hope and unwavering faith throughout the lens of artificial intelligence. Clara's unique perspective and experiences, heavily shaped by her limited time as an AF, combined with her unique curiosity, shows her readers how a sense of religion can take shape even within artificial intelligence. From having a sacrificial life goal since manufacturing, the reference she displays towards the sun, and her never-ending hope to save Josie, Ishiguro guides the readers through different elements of faith, inviting the reader to contemplate the power of belief and gain insight into the meaning of human experiences like longing and loss. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for
So my question is, with Clara's almost immediate drawing to the sun as a deity or higher power of sorts, do you think that humans and society has an innate drawing to the presence of higher powers as portrayed through Clara? If yes, why?
I definitely, wait, no, first, can you maybe repeat the question so I know I answered right?
Do you think humans and society has an innate drawing to the presence of higher powers as portrayed through Clara?
Personally, I do think so, since presumably since the beginning of time, humans would use higher deities to explain things they couldn't really understand, like, for example, like thunder, I think maybe fire, rain, and things like such. And the sun being something that Clara does not really understand in the beginning of the book, but she does know, like, she needs it to live. She immediately creates some sort of personification for it in order to explain it within her back then limited mind.
My name is Alvin from Group 4. So basically, I kind of believe that the sun healed Josie, even though that there is no proof that the sun healed Josie. But do you guys think that Josie that's being healed by the sun at the end of the book is real Josie or just an AF of Josie? Because, like, as we know, things like AF can get their source of energy from the sun, so that's why Josie magically healed suddenly, or do you think that's maybe just a miracle?
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good point. You guys
Interesting
answer this one?
question. I have not thought about that. That's a very good theory. It could be, because to me, like, the ending when she gets miraculously cured, that was open to the reader. Yeah. And I like your theory. I would not be able to say I think that is, but personally, I would like to think it was a miracle. I like the idea of it.
Yeah, it's a really good theory, especially given the idea of there being a copy of Josie was already practically planted within the book itself. Of course, when Mr. Cavalli creates a statue for Josie, aka a replacement for Josie. So, given that the narrator is unreliable, since Clara talks about things she experienced, it could have very well been a copy of Josie, and Clara simply does not know. Yeah, it's very possible actually. Yes?
Hello, my name is Dennis from Group 3, and I have a question about the influence of Christianity/Catholicism. Thank you, first of all, for your essay. My question is, Clara is trying to go back to the sun to ask for support, and Clara is going to Mr. McBain's bane. Do you think that her trip to the barn is comparable with a pilgrimage, and that Mr. McBain's barn is a church for Clara, according to the influences of the Christianity you have announced in the argument paper?
Yes. Well, within the novel itself, Clara did think for a decent amount of time that Mr. McBain's farm was the house of the sun, where the sun would go down every evening from her perspective. So I definitely do think that that Mr. McBain's farm could have been some place like a church for Clara, especially since she that's the place where she chooses to pray as well. So I think her first trip towards the barn ended struggles that she goes through can definitely be some sort of mirror-like comparison towards pilgrimage, and also the trials one goes through on said pilgrimage.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm Keshro from group 4. So considering Clara's like behavior and like what we've been kind of reading about artificial beings in general, considering she's kind of expressing human-like features almost that we can describe of, do you think that Clara could, like, if we're going towards like technology advancements nowadays, if like androids would exhibit more like Clara, could that be an add-on to what humans would call companionship? Do you think we would go towards there or not? What do you think?
That's a tricky one.
Well, I personally think maybe. Like, if the goal is companionship, yeah, I think it will make a bond between a human and an android very personal. Because a lot of humans take religion very personally. Like, it's a very big, important part of their lives. So I think, yeah,
Could be a bonding agent,
Yeah.
essentially.
I'm Daniel from Group 6. Thank you for your presentation. So do you think Clara's belief is maybe partly programmed? Is not true, is just a program.
Can you maybe repeat the question, please?
Do you think Clara's belief, religious belief, may be programmed, not true, is fake, or just computer program?
Oh, into like an android?
Yeah.
Or in our mind?
And
Oh, yes, definitely. Like true AI. Well, I think so, personally, yes.
I personally think it's a combination of both her natural curiosity that she displays and that manager notes very often within the shop, combined with the coincidences which she observes within the shop, which is essentially her childhood and which shapes her. I think that combination really cultivated that sort of religion that she shapes within her head. Of course.
Anyone? Last chance? Going once? Okay. All right.